Live to tape.
Welcome to Millennial Season 3, Episode 2. I'm Andrew.
I'm Elisa.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Matt.
So we're all sober this week, but as those who listened to our Season 3 premiere, hopefully it was everyone, remembers, we did Guess Who's Drinking on that show, where one of us was secretly drinking. We didn't reveal who it was. We wanted listeners to vote in our Millennial group, which, by the way, is at facebook.com/groups/millennial show. With the majority of the vote was Elisa. She received 62 votes. Matt had 13.
Woo!
Laura had 9. And Andrew had 8.
Man, Elisa, you fucking lush.
I know. What's going on?
I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Well, I was curious
something
too.
happened.
So I asked people, why do you think it was her? And one person replied, Stephanie, she said, she was unusually quiet and then forgot the outro music in a fit of laughter. And that received 4 likes. So I guess other people figured it was you.
That's classic, Elisa.
Yeah, but I mean, Elisa always dissolves into a fit of laughter when she fucks up. Like, that's normal behavior.
I think that's the whole play, is that she's always drunk.
That's my secret. I'm always drunk.
Just
another day. I don't know what happened. I mean, I'll take it. I'm happy that I have this newfound reputation as an alcoholic, I guess, but I don't know where it came from. It wasn't me though. It was not I. Who was it?
What?
Reveal thyself.
It was me.
No.
Oh, I thought it was me.
I thought it was me after the poll. I started questioning reality.
Was I drunk?
Maybe I was drunk.
Well,
Laura,
kudos to you,
shit.
Laura.
Thank you.
You fooled the masses.
I thought I did pretty well, considering the fact that I was taking straight shots of rum throughout the recording. Thought I did pretty well. So,
What kind of rum was it?
Flor de Caña, which is this amazing Nicaraguan rum. So good.
I love Flor de Caña.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's good. It's good. It's not that great.
Fuck
Okay,
you. You
well-
don't know anything.
Listeners, I guess you got to try harder next time whenever we play this next. Listen more care. I think Laura was just pacing herself a little too much, and so she didn't exhibit any signs of drunkenness.
Oh, there were signs.
Just with me. Apparently.
You know, are any of you still playing Pokemon Go?
No.
I still have it,
Yes.
but
Still have it,
I
but
don't.
not playing it.
Yeah, I don't think I can't even remember the last time I used it. I think it was
But
election
Elisa,
day.
you are?
I'm still playing it very casually. I'm not as
Okay.
obsessed as I was, but yeah, once in a while.
I stopped it for a while, and then I picked it back up again because they have been introducing like new features, and like over Christmas, that was fun. And they introduced new Pokemon, but they did it in a way where supposedly they can only be discovered by hatching eggs. And over the Christmas holiday, they started giving people more eggs and more incubators. So I was into it. Every day I was getting eggs and incubators from the Pokestops. And I have hatched so many freaking eggs at this point. I am walking my ass off. Every time I'm out there with my dog, I got Pokemon Go up. I'm rocking and rolling down the street with this thing, looking like a nerd, walking down the street. And I have yet to get one of these stupid Pokemon, and I'm so fed up with it. I want a Togepi.
What the fuck is a Togepi?
I want a baby Pikachu. I want any of these new adorable little Pokemon, and I haven't gotten one of them. I've gotten Bellsprouts. I've gotten the fucking one that looks like Squidward. I'm to get one of these new ones.
I'm fucking dying. You sound genuinely pissed off. It's so
I
funny.
am! Because I get so excited. I'm like, oh, great. I just finished hatching are walking a 5-kilometer egg or a 10-kilometer egg. I've worked hard for this. This has taken several walks with my dog, taken several picking up pieces of shit off the sidewalk, and still nothing. And I'm just really fed up with that whole egg thing. At this point now, they're done giving out eggs. They're done giving out incubators. So now I got to start shelling out real hard-earned Patreon money to get more eggs and incubators just to not catch these new Pokemon. I am pissed.
I want everyone to know that in the planning document for this episode, Andrew wrote, "Pokemon Go, fuck me over." he's like
true.
Genuinely irate.
And by the way, I didn't even color that, so nobody knew who wrote it in. It's just one of the four of us wrote, "Pokemon Go, fucking me over."
We all knew it was you, sweetie.
Pokemon Go, fuck yourself.
And speaking of Fuckemon Go, fucking things up for me, the Apple Watch app that they hyped up over the summer is a piece of garbage. Utter trash.
What is it? Why?
Because you have to open the app on your phone still, and it doesn't work. It's slow as hell. You can't see what Pokemon... You can't catch the Pokemon from your watch. It doesn't save battery. It doesn't make it easier to play. Just a big disappointment.
What does it do then?
Yeah, what's the point of it?
I don't. It tells you, hey, a Pokemon's nearby, and then you have to open up you got to pull out your phone to try and catch it.
Wait, is it any Pokemon, or can you list ones that alert you when one that you want is close by?
No. It's all the Pokemon. And you have to open the app anyway. You can't just open the app on your watch. You got to go and open it up on your phone as well. It's just so
That's
stupid.
annoying because there's shit tons of Ratatouilles everywhere. So you're going to be constantly
Ratatouilles
being told what are they called?
Ratatat. Ratatat.
Don't act like it's common knowledge, Elisa.
I mean,
it is.
The name might not be, but spelling is, and it says it right on the screen.
So, real quick, one other thing about this damn game. I have still been into it, and I'm I've been evolving Pokemon, doing pretty well. I finally got a Raichu. That was exciting because I caught enough Pikachus. The saddest moment of my life so far was opening up the app while sitting at home and seeing that there was a Snorlax at the Starbucks down the street. I left my home and walked 3 blocks down to the Starbucks specifically to catch the fucking Snorlax. I don't even buy anything at Starbucks. I step out front of the Starbucks. I'm sitting there swiping my phone. And then I turn around and I walk back home and I plop myself back on my couch. So sad.
That's the saddest story I think I've ever heard.
This is
on so many levels.
In seriousness, the game was designed to do exactly that. The developers even said that they were hoping to make a game that was so interactive it got people off their asses.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was just so disgusted with myself. I was like, wow, I'm really doing this.
Hey, listen, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it for a Snorlax.
Right?
You aim
Do
high.
it right.
That was my thought. I mean, I hadn't seen one before until that moment, so I knew this was my time.
This is my moment.
Time to shine, Andrew.
Anyway,
I gotta do this.
At the end of the show, I'm going to mention one other video game thing. Actually, I'm super excited for this, but we'll save that for the end of the show. On the last episode, Laura, you told us that you were preparing for a Trump presidency by doing what?
By getting an IUD.
And what is an IUD?
It's an intrauterine device that's inserted up into your shiz, as it were. That's a medical term, actually. And so I had that done yesterday, and I'm really glad that I did it. I don't know if today I'm glad that I did it because I'm having some of the side effects.
What are the side effects?
Which are no bueno. Like fatigue. And some nausea and things like that, because your body is basically there is a foreign object inside of us right now. We must kill it. And,
no.
And so my body's just not letting me do anything except sleep and be grumpy and sometimes cry a little bit. So that's my life right now. But now I'm really glad I did it because currently, as I mentioned in the last episode, it is 100% covered. under current healthcare law. So I got in like right under the wire on that shit because this is all getting ready to change very, very soon. So I hope it works out. There's a slight chance that it could expel itself. And I'm like, please don't, please don't, please don't.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Wait, what did you say? What are the chances?
A slight chance. Like
slight.
It doesn't happen very often, but it could.
Okay.
So.
So to put this in layman's terms, I could come over and let's say you're in a better mood right now.
Yeah.
If you're
And
in
we
the
could
mood.
bang.
Right.
I could enter you without any protection on my banana.
Yes. You
And
could do that.
I could drop
You
a load inside of you.
you could drop your SimSeeds inside of me.
And you will not get prego.
It's 99% effective. Not to say you won't, but it's super effective. More effective than the pill, more effective than using condoms, etc.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really
That's
cool.
awesome.
So I'm excited to have it.
So get to it, guys.
It lasts for 5 years, so I don't fucking have to worry about shit for 5 years. As a matter of fact, this thing is also known to completely get rid of your period after a few months.
No.
So, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why doesn't everybody do this?
Well, because having a foreign object put up in your vag just to get rid of periods is like not like sound medical reasoning.
So like a doctor inserts this? Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Did you wash down there extra so he has a pleasant visiting experience?
Well, I mean, I did clean myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I needed to wash extra because I'm just, I stay
Well, just in
clean.
case.
She
Well, I'm
trimmed
not
her
saying you don't
shiz.
generally.
Yeah.
She trimmed her shiz into like a little heart shape. So that he knew he knew right where to go.
First of all, doctor was a she. And
Even better.
second, I was not about to go I was not about to landscape down there, okay? Because it's like they've seen it all. They're getting ready to put a foreign object like right up my hole. Like, I just don't give a fuck.
You guys are really suave, you know that? Andrew's like right up my hole. And what did Andrew say? Andrew's like
SimSeed.
No, he was like, I could drop a load inside you. I could drop a load inside you, right up my hole. I mean, there's really no pretense here, is there? You're just...
Please tell me that's
explicit,
not what you actually say during sex.
I'm gonna drop my load.
Oh, I'm about to drop my seed.
My SimSeed.
I'm
gonna use that next time. I'm about to come my SimSeed. No, I wanted to be explicit so listeners understood exactly what was happening and what the benefits are. So that's great, Laura. We applaud you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We admire
it. Laura's open for business now. Between now and
Yep.
2022.
That's right.
You got 5 years,
You
guys.
got 5 years just to get in, get out.
You got a full
that's
term.
cool.
No babies.
Top tier patrons only.
Oh, man. All right, so let's talk a little bit of news. It's been a big week, so even though we want to get away from politics, we're going to talk about them on this episode with the inauguration coming up and with all this Russia stuff happening. It's been a crazy few days.
Yeah.
CNN reported earlier this week that there were classified documents presented to President Obama and President-elect Trump that included allegations that Russian operatives claimed to have compromising personal and financial information about Trump. They had this very well sourced. They've been saying they've been working very hard on it. This information was presented in a 2-page synopsis. That was a part of a report on the Russian interference in the 2016 election, which we talked a lot about last week. So this came out, and of course it was huge news that Russia may have some dirt on Trump that they could use whenever they wanted to get their way. They could blackmail Trump. That's basically what this meant. And that's very significant for the public to know because that presents a huge problem. So we were talking in our group chat when this story first broke. What could they possibly have on Trump? And I was like, well, let's make a guessing game out of it on episode 302. But then shortly thereafter, BuzzFeed goes and posts the entire 35-page document that has been running around in high levels of government and through the media. But nobody has released this. It's been kept under wraps. And there's a lot of info in here that is very bad. If it's true, it hasn't been substantiated. It's still unknown if this stuff is legitimate. But of course, everybody grabbed onto this one part. I'm gonna read part of it. There were other aspects to Trump's engagement with the Russian authorities. One which had borne fruit for them was to exploit Trump's personal obsessions and sexual perversion in order to obtain suitable, compromising material on him. According to Source D, where he had been present, Trump's conduct in Moscow included hiring the presidential suite of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, where he knew President and Mrs. Obama, whom he hated, had stayed on one of their official trips to Russia, and defiling the bed where they had slept by employing a number of prostitutes to perform a golden shower show in front of him. The hotel was known to be under FSB control, with microphones and concealed cameras in all the main rooms to record anything they wanted to. So if this report is to be believed, one of the things that Russia has on Trump is video, or presumably at least audio, of some golden shower action going down in this suite.
Yeah, and
it was a great day, though.
It really was. Twitter was on fire.
It was a great day to be alive. Even if it's not true, God, at least they gave us something.
Well, it was, you know what? It's funny. So yes, it's very likely that it's not true. But the point of the matter is, what is true is that the Russians have something on our president-elect. And that's not good.
No, it's not.
And the more important information in this report is that there seems to be, again, if this is true, indirect, but direct discussions going on during the election and even before that, during the campaign and even before that, between Trump's associates and the Kremlin. And that, of course, would be very, very bad. So it's kind of a shame that the golden showers stuff has been the focus, because there's other very serious information in here that, if true, would be terrible and would probably get Trump impeached.
Yeah,
right.
I was gonna say the golden shower story is admittedly very, very funny, but it would be a tragedy if we all got distracted by the funny here, because the memo, this 35-page document, we should explain, was condensed into just a few pages. So when people talk about the memo, they could be talking about the full document or the shorter abbreviated version. In either case, though, the memo doesn't just talk about golden showers and prostitutes. It also discusses how the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin, has been deliberately trying to groom Donald Trump as an asset for the past 5 years. It says that he's been giving him favors. He's been letting him lease land and hotels and property. He's just been sucking up to him, basically, all to groom him for the presidency. And that this plan to assist Donald Trump rise to power has been in place for at least 5 to 10 years. That's also what the memo says. And again, Andrew's right. This is unsubstantiated. We don't know yet if this is true, and if it is, to what extent it's true. But the mere fact that every intelligence official, we're talking the director of the CIA, the director of the FBI, yes, despot Comey, they all agreed that this was credible enough to brief the president. So we don't know if it's true, but we have very good reason to think that the reports are credible. And I think that's the story. That needs to be the story. The fact that Vladimir Putin has been deliberately and for years trying to get Trump in power, and has, if true, succeeded. Now, I mean, this takes me back to the debate when Hillary was saying that he was a puppet for Putin. He was like, "I'm no puppet. You're the puppet. You're the puppet."
Can I play that real quick? Because you immediately thought of this when reading all this information.
Putin, from everything I see, has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit that the Russians have engaged in cyber attacks against the United States of America, that you encouraged espionage against our people, that you are willing to spout the Putin line, sign up for his wish list, break up NATO, do whatever he wants to do, and that you continue to get help from him because he has a very clear favorite in this race.
This comment, in hindsight now, is so smart. So on the money.
Really
It's
poignant.
eerie.
It is eerie. I was just going to say, it just really resounds.
Well, and it's really frustrating because, again, like we were saying last episode, we all knew this. We all knew this was happening. And it was just like, nothing was being done to stop it. And it's like, we knew it. We knew the train wreck was coming. But we just sat back and watched it.
More importantly than us knowing this, or at the very least suspecting it, more importantly than that, the memo also alleges that in addition to Putin deliberately grooming Trump for the presidency and trying to place him in power and, and hacking our elections, it also says that Trump, at least Trump's top associates like Paul Manafort, who basically ran the Trump campaign for the first half of it, knew about it and were part of it. So that, to me, is what was where the impeachable offense comes along. Because if Vladimir Putin had been doing this for the past few years without Trump's knowledge or without the knowledge of the campaign, then it's still fucked up. It's still concerning, but you can't blame Trump for it because he would have no knowledge of it and no part in it. But the memo also says that there is evidence, audio evidence, that at least Paul Manafort and other members of the campaign were active participants, that they actively were engaging with the Kremlin and with the Russians to take down Hillary Clinton by releasing information on her, by cyber attacking the DNC emails and what have you, and that this whole thing was deliberately rigged with the Trump campaign knowing and participating in it. If that turns out to be true, that's an impeachable offense. And not just impeachable offense, that's a criminal offense. People could go to jail. Trump could go to jail.
So here's a question, though. I mean, what would it be impeachable under? I mean, is that espionage?
Is it treason?
Yeah, it would be treason. Well, it depends on who you ask. I think it would be both treason and espionage, but it's also, there are a lot of federal statutes against interfering in elections as well. That alone, forget treason and espionage, the federal laws against interfering in democratic elections in the United States alone would be enough to put somebody in jail. But you add treason and what have you on top of it, and yeah, we wouldn't see them again, and they wouldn't see the light of day again. The last thing I want to say on this is everything we've just discussed sort of rests on this being true. And just like I don't like fake news that is, conservative spin, I think we need to be careful about what we assume here. Even though it really bolsters our own worldview, and I tend to believe it, we still need to be very careful about what we propagate and what assumptions we draw from this report. So I don't think we have enough facts to get up in arms quite yet. But I do want to explain that the basis of this report is still credible. Not verified, not substantiated, but credible, and there is a difference. The reason it's credible is because all of this intel was compiled by a British spy. His name has since been revealed, Christopher Steele, a British spy who was known to be really, really good at what he did particularly as regards spying on the Russians.
The chief of the MI6 or someone of that caliber called him a pro at his job.
Yeah, he was part of MI6, which is, I think that's like the James Bond, like it's basically James Bond figured this out.
Yeah.
So James Bond is the one who came up with this intel and passed it along through our intelligence agencies, and our intelligence agencies have reviewed the evidence for this enough to, again, present it to the president. We will never, at least not in the next few years, see the evidence ourselves unless it's leaked by a whistleblower. But it exists, apparently.
Well, and the interesting thing about this, too, I've noticed, is we talked last episode about how Russia had paid social media trolls. And I'm pretty sure they were out on Twitter a couple nights ago because all of a sudden I started seeing multiples of the same tweet from just different accounts talking about how this whole thing was a prank by 4chan. And going on about how, misguided liberals are and how quick we are to take fake news when it suits, our worldview, which I think can be a fair assessment of the situation depending on how people reacted to this. But it was really crazy to watch all these fake fucking accounts try and spin the narrative on Twitter. Mm-hmm. They're clearly out there. It's kind of creepy.
We're not talking about it today, but there was the debate over fake news has been renewed again. In a nutshell, Trump is calling CNN's report fake news, but he's spinning fake news into a new definition, which is really messed up.
Yeah.
Because fake news, up until over the past couple days, and it still is today, fake news is news that comes from illegitimate news sources, right. Fake news websites, for example, fake or Facebook pages that pretend to be news sources. CNN, New York Times, even BuzzFeed are legitimate news sources. And if they are reporting something, it's well sourced. It's a fireable offense to fuck up a story. It ruins people's careers. Journalists do not get into this to write fake news, to not write an accurate story. So Trump going around starting to call CNN fake news, he said that. He said exactly that during his press conference. Is very,
he calls
very
the
dangerous.
whole organization, not just the story, fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And he refused to take a question from them.
Yeah.
I want to echo that Andrew said. It is very dangerous to have the president of the United States dismiss the media and be so hostile to open press. Open press and freedom of the press is really a pillar of democracy. It's the only way that the electorate knows anything. How do you know what is true and what isn't true without a free and open press? And for him to be so hostile to it is really a sign of weakness, in my opinion, and scary and dangerous. And not only is it a fireable offense, but if a news outlet like CNN, who broke this story, or BuzzFeed or whoever else, if they post something knowing it's false, then that's also libel, and they can be sued for that.
Yes,
so it's not just it's a huge deal. It's a huge accusation that's just not true. We can say that the story isn't verified. We can't say that it's fake. There's a big difference.
There's a huge difference.
And I just wanted to point out something else from that clusterfuck of a news conference Trump had the other day. When he was asked about the allegations in the report about Putin propping him up to become our president, his response to that was literally, if Vladimir Putin likes Donald Trump, I think that's an asset.
Yeah.
What?
And the other, all right, I know we have to move on, but the last thing on this, but just rustles my jimmies is how is his Twitter response to this madness, which was he went on a all caps rage rant when the CNN story about this broke, and one of the many crazy things he tweeted was something along the lines of, this is this is like a political assassination. Like, I'm being deliberately targeted here. And what are we? Nazi Germany? And I want to pause for a moment, because this is what, when we spoke about leading up to the election not becoming desensitized, and when John Oliver and Jon Stewart and all of those have pleaded with us not to become desensitized, this is what they meant. A sitting president or a president-elect to compare the state of this country to Nazi Germany is mind-boggling. And we would never accept that from anybody else. Not Obama, not Bush, not Clinton, not Reagan. Can you imagine any one of those people saying that because a CNN report came out that we're living in Nazi Germany? That's offensive.
Yeah.
That's offensive.
Yeah.
We give him free pass after free pass, and it's mind-boggling.
Well, and
I'm tired of everyone like saying we have to give him a chance.
Yeah, no. Most of the replies to that, by the way, were people being like, "Yeah, well, we do now, Donald."
Yeah. So to lighten the mood real quick, let's hear Mark Hamill, plays Luke Skywalker, reading a Trump quote as the Joker, because he voices the Joker on an animated series.
Happy New Year to all, including to my many enemies, and those who have fought me and lost so badly, they just don't know what to do. Love.
That was a real Trump tweet, by the way, that he was reading.
Why doesn't Mark Hamill play a villain and Luke Skywalker at the same time?
Because actors like to mix up their roles.
No, but he can play like two. I mean, he can play double. What are you talking about? That's not what I said.
I thought you said he likes to play the Joker and Luke Skywalker.
No, I'm saying why can't he also play a villain character, like two different roles in Star Wars? Because his Joker voice is amazing.
Well, maybe in episode 8 he'll get possessed and then he'll do his evil voice or something.
Oh, I fucking hope so.
So, not to continue talking about Trump, but one other thing, Matt, something happened at the Golden Globes over the weekend?
Yeah, so the Golden Globes happened this week. I don't know if any of you guys watched it. Did you?
No.
Did you? Okay. Yeah, me neither. But I don't usually watch the Golden Globes because they're pretty much bullshit. But you're right,
Mr.
Andrew.
Hollywood over here.
Well, something did happen, and it came from Meryl Streep. She's some actress. I don't know if you've seen her in something, but she was awarded for this year's Cecil B. DeMille Lifetime Achievement Award and used her acceptance speech to call out the president-elect for appearing to mock a disabled New York Times reporter and warned that a free press would need to be defended. So her speech was all over the media. Have you guys listened to it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's play a little clip here.
It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. It kind of broke my heart when I saw it, and I still can't get it out of my head because it wasn't in a movie. It was real life. And this instinct to humiliate, when it's modeled by someone in the public platform, by someone powerful, it filters down into everybody's life because it kind of gives permission for other people to do the same thing. Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence. When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose.
Mm-hmm.
It was she used her entire speech to talk about Trump. She didn't talk about anything
She
else.
went full on. She spoke for 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Though I think it's worth noting that she spoke about Trump the whole time, but never once used his name.
Never once.
And I think it's very telling that she uses she describes the situation of someone, trying to sit in high office, mocking a disabled reporter, and she uses words like bully and what have you, and we all automatically know to whom she's referring.
Yeah, well, the other clue was
Trump.
But the attention
orangutan.
wasn't right. But the way that her speech was made, she very eloquently kept the attention to Donald Trump, but more towards what he is inflicting in the public, like what he's introducing
the
and is
problem,
allowing.
not the person.
Right. And then she also discussed later on in the speech, kind of touching on what we talked about last week, was how now more than ever we need to back our press and protect them from the incoming administration especially, but also from the public on social media who attack the media. And I think
and of course her warnings came true when a couple days later Trump started attacking CNN again, as we just discussed.
So I really respect that she took her moment and used it the way that she did. And
she could have spoken about her role in Mamma Mia or the latest Disney musical Into the Woods, but she spent time on Trump, and I thought that was very, very selfless of her.
And I like that. I like that when she spoke about Trump and opposing Trump, she actually didn't get political. She didn't bring up, abortion or the Affordable Care Act. She didn't bring up issues. All she brought up was decency. All she brought up was having an expectation for common decency and how we treat one another. That was it. That was all she did. So the people who are crying foul and saying that she turned the Globes into a political event, I would actually contend, I don't think that that's what she did. By the nature of Trump being Trump, it's political. But she didn't, the substance wasn't political. All she was actually saying was we have to treat people with respect and hold those accountable who don't. And if that is a politicized issue, if human decency is a partisan issue, then we are in really deep trouble.
I also don't understand the whole rhetoric that people who are in the entertainment industry cannot be political. Because especially in this past year, especially, politics have become entertainment. Why can't entertainment become political? It can't be one way and not the other.
The thing to me is it's always the conservatives saying the liberal media, they don't understand, they can't relate to the average person. Well, okay, maybe they can't relate, but it doesn't mean they're not intelligent and they don't they can't hold opinions on subjects like the current political climate. It's just the only excuse that conservatives have when their heroes talk against their own political beliefs.
Yeah, well, that whole excuse has gone out the window since we elected President Pussy Grabber.
Nah, they're still using it though. But and it bums me out as somebody who's as the husband of someone like Bruce Springsteen who's outspoken. I hate to see when people talk poorly of my husband because he's a left-leaning liberal. He's intelligent and he's got a nice dick. I mean, you can't really fault him for having political opinions.
No.
So,
thank you, Meryl.
One other story before we say farewell to Obama, since we're at the end of his term here.
No.
We do want to say thanks to him, and not sarcastically. We want to say it to him seriously. I just wanted to mention, I thought this was interesting. Norway has become the first country to start switching off their FM radio signals. So they're doing it county by county. It started a couple of days ago. Started on January 11th. They're weird. They were like, at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, January 11th, we're going to do this because it was an easy time for us to remember to start doing it. Okay. So they started turning off the FM radio. Now they're going to be digital only, and it's supposed to save about $25 million US dollars annually.
How is it saving money, though?
You know what? I don't really understand. They didn't really explain that part. I guess just keeping up the FM systems And sorry, I don't think it's supposed to say 25
like
million
the towers
annually, just
or
25
something?
million.
But what is digital? Is that like XM radio, like satellite, or?
I think so, but they are not actually using satellites in the sky. It's some sort of different technology. But the reason I bring it up is because we here in America, we still rely on FM radio a lot. Everybody, I think, uses it in their cars if they don't have satellite radio. Of course, iPods have kind of hurt radio because you can listen to exactly the music you want, commercial free, and in a lot of cases in higher quality. Oh, and with curse words, the FCC, there's stupid rules over here. You can't listen to anything even somewhat dirty on the radio because they're afraid of 9-year-olds hearing it.
And also there's podcasts. Like you can listen to NPR and you can listen to the news on your own time on demand. So listening to the radio has become kind of like a scapegoat or almost just a backup option.
Last resort,
for listening to any type of entertainment in your car or anything else.
People in Norway, they use SD card readers. You know those SD cards that you put in like a digital camera? They use those as like thumb drives over there and put them in their cars. They don't even use iPods over there. They just use SD cards. They load them up with the latest podcasts and then they pop them into their radios. I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that was like a thing.
I mean, also Norway is a relatively small country compared to like the U.S. So, I mean, they could do these things much more fluidly than we could.
Yeah, and FM I think is a lot bigger out here, but it makes you wonder: is this going to be a trend that starts really moving? And yet, AM radio still exists here in the U.S., and that's old as hell. It sounds like crap. I don't know. I was interested in this story.
But I do think like on-demand radio, I think maybe even radio in itself, despite it being satellite or over radio waves, is kind of going on the out anyways.
Yeah, it's on the way out.
With having to download your own episodes like from like NPR or through podcast episodes and that kind of media, it's been making radio sort of obsolete.
Yeah, and I think like if it weren't for limited data plans, personally, I'd probably be using Spotify in my car all the time. But I can't stream Spotify in my car unless I download all of the music that I want ahead of time. So I have satellite radio in my car, and I do enjoy using it for music. But most of the time, I'm also using my Bluetooth to play all of my Springsteen concerts because that's 95% of my iPod.
I have the Sirius XM radio app on my phone, and I noticed that you can actually download episodes and music.
Yeah, so
directly on your phone, just like Spotify. Yeah, so you can even do it in offline mode.
Yeah, I don't know, I thought it was interesting. I think FM is. I can't see leaving America anytime soon, but maybe other countries it's going to be disappearing pretty quickly.
That'll be crazy. That's the end of an era there.
Yeah, for sure. Remember putting cassette tapes or CDs into your car? Does anyone still do that?
Oh yeah,
CDs.
What?
Nope.
Lisa, you listen to CDs in your car?
I did. I started answering before you finished the sentence. I meant I remember doing it.
Oh, okay. I remember the days when you would put a little dongle on the bottom of your iPod to broadcast it to your radio in your car. Just me?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I think just you.
I guess I was the only guy who was down with technology back in the middle of 2000s. Yeah,
I just bought a cable to connect it to my car's radio.
Well, what I was going to say was a lot of car systems did not have aux-in back then.
Well,
I wasn't rich like you, Laura. I had a shitty 1997 Honda Civic. It lacked an aux-in.
God. I got so confused for a second, Andrew. I thought you said oxen, like
oxen,
like cattle.
I have an ox with my real ox,
and die of sepsis,
and dysentery.
Although my new car doesn't have an aux-in either. It's very strange.
All right, so like what Andrew said earlier, Obama is approaching the very end of his presidency for his second term, and he had his final address to the nation this week, and
Did
most
anyone
recently,
cry?
No, but
Yeah,
it was
I did.
definitely.
Yeah, I did.
But before we get into the speech today, Obama gave kind of like a ceremonial speech. But what was so great about it was that he surprised our Uncle Joe, Vice President Joe Biden, by awarding him the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Yeah.
And
So this was set up as an event just to say thanks to Joe. Here, I'll play part of it now.
So, Joe, for your faith in your fellow Americans,
Joe's
for
crying,
your love
by
of
the way.
country, and for your lifetime of service that will endure through the generations, I'd like to ask the military aide to join us on stage.
What? Why?
what's going on? What?
Is he going to blow me?
Peas and carrots?
For the final time as president, I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Joe turns around and he dabs his tears because he has a moment. He's
His
facing the
reaction
wall.
was so genuine.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, he was very emotional during that.
It was adorable.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna miss them so much together.
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate bromance. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really don't see this kind of relationship between the president and the vice president, especially at the end of two terms.
Yeah.
Like our previous president, George W. Bush, and Dick Cheney, they were not
good friends. They were better than Joe and Barack, in my opinion.
Okay.
But even even Bill Clinton and Al Gore, they definitely had some issues together.
Hey, how's it going?
I think the reason is because it's always a power grab. There's always a lot of tension between the president and vice president because they have their own agendas and what have you. But I think, say what you will about Joe and Obama, but they don't have egos. They have their flaws and they have their issues, but they do not have egos. They're in it for the right reasons, and so I think that they got along so famously because, they could put all of like the political ego shit aside, and they were like, "Hey, bro, what's up? Like, let's just get this shit done. I don't care. I don't care who gets credit for it. I don't care how it happens. Just make it happen."
Right.
Getting back to Obama, to say thank you to Obama, we wanted to all take turns and just mention what, say thanks, Obama. Elisa, what do you want to thank Obama for?
Oh boy, so much. I want to thank him for his decency. I think that's something that we're going to miss most of all. He was a good person at his core. I'm going to miss his mom jeans. I'm going to miss, I think, his belief in us. He was sort of always optimistic and always put so much faith in the American people. And even when I was very bitter and jaded, listening to him speak always made me reel that in and brought out my own sense of optimism and hope for the country. He did that. I'll miss that. If I can quickly though, I do want to go over a couple of actual things he accomplished. I think people forget. So you go fuck yourself. So let's not forget that when he came into office, we were in the midst of a terrible recession. A lot of people forget that he jump-started the economy with the Recovery Act of 2009 and saved a lot of jobs. In the past year alone, 2.1 million jobs have been created over the span of his presidency. More jobs have been created by Obama than under his predecessor, Bush. He repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That's a big fucking deal.
Oh, yeah, there was.
He passed the Dodd-Frank Act, which holds Wall Street accountable whenever there's a financial crisis. It makes sure that the banks take responsibility for their actions for whatever income that they lose instead of passing it on to the consumer. The president even just coming out in favor of gay marriage, the Supreme Court did that. But to have the sitting president come out in favor of gay marriage is a huge deal. It was a sign. It was like a bat signal that made it truly and really normalized and okay. He fought for the Paris Agreement. He kind of shaped the Paris Agreement, which today still to this day stands as the most comprehensive and bold framework to combat climate change. I mean, there's some really tough statutes in there that's going to hold every country, including the United States, going to hold our feet to the fire to fight climate change. He did that. In 2013, he urged the states to raise the minimum wage to at least $10 an hour. His advocacy, his personal advocacy, going around to the governors and to the legislatures trying to convince them to do that, led to 18 states and Washington, D.C. raising their minimum wages to $10.10 an hour. He killed bin Laden. Fuck yeah, America, right? Mm-hmm. Like, sorry, not sorry. I'm usually not for violence, but bin Laden, like, this is great. This is great fucking news. It's bin fucking Laden. Like, sucks to suck. And the Affordable Care Act, of course, widely known and considered, at least for the time being, is still the law. And even if it's repealed, for the 8 years it's been in place, it has saved hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of lives. So thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
wow. I mean,
well, fuck.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything left for us.
Well, I wanted to say I liked how real he was. I liked his friendliness. You just see him speak, and you feel like you could get a beer with him. And of course, he has that $1 million smile. And I'm also just appreciative of, especially because now he's coming in between Bush and Trump, of how well spoken he is, and for the fact that he reads books. I don't think Trump reads books. It seems like he is just not an intelligent person. So it was so refreshing seeing Obama and how well-spoken he was after he followed Bush. And it's once again refreshing after you spend any amount of time listening to Trump. Going back to Obama, like with his farewell speech, for example, you just see that he's a genuinely intelligent person who speaks and writes from the heart. So thank you, Obama, for being a genuinely good president.
Yeah, for me, I think what I'm going to miss the most is having a president who truly understands what the weight of that office means. I think Obama has demonstrated on multiple occasions just how difficult the decision-making can be, how difficult the right choice can be to make, and how sometimes there is no right choice, and how he himself has pretty openly grappled with some of the things that have happened over the course of his presidency. He hasn't been a perfect president, and he knows it, and he owns that, and we're not going to see that again in this next administration. So it's going to be a really tough shift. And finally, I would just say, my first election when I was old enough to vote was when Obama ran for the first time. And I will never forget the feeling that his campaign and that he as a candidate inspired in me. I've been invested in politics since I was very young, but that year I felt so connected to it in a way that I had never felt before. And I think it's because Obama gets our age group. He gets it. He gets the situation that we're in. He understands how to communicate with us without being, like, no offense to Hillary, but, like, he's not like, hello, fellow young people, how can I assist you? You know, I
have hot sauce in my bag.
Yeah, he actually gets it. He understands where we're coming from. And I would say that also applies to Michelle, who I'm also going to miss severely. She has been such an incredible presence in the role of First Lady. It's just going to be really hard to see him go. I'm sad.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say just one final thing real quick, since we're getting kind of long. I'm going to say that as on a personal level, I really am going to miss his speech and his delivery of his speeches, whether he's reading off a teleprompter or he's speaking from the mind off the cuff.
I can't wait for his book. We were going to do AP Choice. This is a segment exclusively for our $10 patrons. They get to submit topics for us to discuss. But nobody's submitting anything. Come on, there's 111 of you. We made a post 2 days ago on Patreon. Send in some topics. Ask Laura how her DUI is. Ask
The
her
DUI.
Ask her if you
Ask
can
Laura
bend
how her
her.
DUI is.
I'll let you know if my body expels my DUI.
Yeah. I don't know. Ask us anything. It could be anything you want, whether it's about us or about politics. Maybe not politics. Entertainment, books, whatever you want. Just ask us something, and we'd be happy to answer it here on the show or turn it into a discussion of some sorts. Maybe relationship advice.
Yeah,
we used to do a lot of that.
I was gonna say it could also be like advice of some sort. If you have some shit going down, let us know.
Yeah, we want to hear about your shit. So nobody submitted anything, but that's okay because they're still pledging, so we still love you. Let's do surprise bitch. Speaking of pledging, because last week we had a caller who stopped. Traitor. Let's pick a newer number so we can hopefully have a higher chance of somebody who is still an active patron.
Okay.
Give us a range, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll down. It's only showing me the first 100 right now.
3.
That's not a high number.
Oh.
Let's do between 300 and 566.
I want to say 499.
Oh. Yeah, me too. I was going to say that.
Sorry, that number was already selected. That was Megan. So let's do 500. That's Bree. She's in New Zealand. What time is it there?
Tomorrow.
I don't think they have clocks in the Shire.
All right, a Shire-themed surprise bitch. I already can see who's going to be asking all the questions. To Bree.
The dwarfs dug too greedily.
History became legend. Legend became myth.
No, we already did this.
2,500 years. The ring passed out of all knowledge.
All right, I assume she's
Until
not.
Didn't we already do this movie commentary?
when chance came.
Why?
Hakuna Matata.
Matt, did you just say Hakuna Matata?
I was running out of Elfish.
Okay, that is Ashley. Let's give her a call now.
I say you leave that part in. The whole fucking thing. I'm serious.
Hello, Ashley?
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Surprise, bitch! This is Millennial, New Year, same old shit. Ball with the ball, the bang, diggy, diggy, the Uncle Joe is gone. Obama's gone. Russia has shit about golden showers and Trump.
What the fuck was that random Kid Rock in the middle of it?
What do you mean, what the fuck? It's from...
That's like Andrew's version of heavy metal is Kid Rock.
I have no fucking idea what just happened.
Well, sorry, Ashley.
Sorry, Ashley. We tried. New rule in season 3. We are trying to call a couple people, then we're giving up. We can't spend more than 10 minutes on this segment. Permission to move on?
Yes.
Granted.
Por favor.
All right, you can move on, but only if you leave that stuff in.
Okay, Matt, you heard her.
Okay.
Before we wrap up today, I wanted to make a couple of recommendations. I mentioned this earlier in the show. I was going to be talking a little more about video games. Nintendo, this is a very big night for nerds. I'm talking about Thursday night. Nintendo is revealing their next gaming console, the Nintendo Switch. They're doing it in a live stream 3 hours from now. We saw a trailer a couple months ago. The thing looks fucking awesome. Basically, you can game at home in full HD on your big-ass TV, and then let's say, like what happens in the trailer, somebody out the window says, "Hey, Mary, come on over for our cookout." You can grab your system, pop in the controllers to this extra little screen, and bring it with you. It turns into like a 3DS, but it's a nice big wide screen. It's called the Nintendo Switch. We don't know much about it. We don't know the price. We don't know the games. We don't know other details. So Nintendo is expected to reveal it tonight. I'm very excited. I am going to be sitting there watching the stream with my dick out, looking forward to hearing about a Mario Kart, a good 3D Mario game. They didn't have one of those for the Wii U. Very exciting.
So wait, they're releasing the details tonight?
Yes, tonight.
Oh my god!
Get your vibrator
I didn't know
out.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Big night. You have a Wii U, right?
Yeah. Yes, I have all the Nintendo systems.
I thought we already knew what the Nintendo Switch was. Like, what kind of details?
Well, the details I just said, those are the ones that we know. But we're going to learn about price, dates, games, other cool stuff that it does. It's rumored you're going to be able to play GameCube games on it. That could be a very big deal because you haven't been able to do that in the virtual console on the Wii U.
Oh, you can play Ocarina of Time. Or is that 64?
That was 64, and yes, you can already do that. Come on, Matt! Get down with the Nintendo stuff.
I still have the original Wii somewhere in the closet.
Oh,
I
burn
am
that thing.
pumped to hear about the games. That's
Yes.
what I want to hear about. I want to know what's going to be released,
Ugh.
when, so I can take off work. I'm all about those midnight release parties.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Mm.
Nintendo needs to hit it big. The Wii U it wasn't really that great. So a couple good games, but they need some great stuff. So very excited for tonight. Very excited. I've held off on beating off all day today because I'm waiting for this Switch announcement.
When do you think you might climax?
Approximately 30 seconds into the unveiling.
I think it might be Smash Brothers.
As soon as I see Mario Kart, that's when I'm coming everywhere.
Ooh, that Rainbow Road.
Yeah, there's going to be a Rainbow Road coming out. I've been too inappropriate on this episode. And one other thing to keep on people's radars, there's a very popular book series that came out a good decade ago now. I think it wrapped up. A series of unfortunate events. Did anybody read these?
Yeah,
No.
I actually did.
Oh, did you like them, Laura?
Yeah. I mean, they were definitely, by the time they came out, I was slightly outside of the age range that they were geared for, but they were enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, so they tried to do a movie with Jim Carrey. That was going to be a series.
It was
Didn't work out.
terrible, by the way.
Yeah. Bad adaptation. The books are fantastic. If you've read them, you love them. My brother is a super fan. He's read all the books 4 times each. I read many of them. So anyway, Netflix adapted it. Season 1 comes out on Friday, January 13th. It stars Neil Patrick Harris. It covers the first 4 books in 8 episodes. So that's season 1. I saw a couple of episodes already. It's very good. And I think everybody's going to like it, whether or not you read the books. I think this is going to be a big hit for Netflix. So binge that this weekend if you're looking for something to watch. Sober
Okay.
Lisa, what's our outro music this week?
Will you stop drinking?
I see it.
I think I know what, this just speaks for itself. I think everyone will get it.
Oh, God.
Okay. Coming up on After Dark today, we're going to talk about the inauguration, what our plans are for Inauguration Day, and how the Women's March may actually be more popular than Trump's inauguration. Also, it was reported by somebody organizing the inauguration that it's going to have, quote, soft sensuality. So we're going to be coming up with some ideas there for what that could possibly look like. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'm Andrew.
I'm Elisa.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Matt.
See you next week for episode 303 or over on Patreon for After Dark. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Ball with the ball, the bang, jiggy, jiggy, shake 'em, rock, the woogie. Ball with the ball, the bang, diggy, 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 shake 'em. Yes! My name is Andrew!
What a great song.
Said no one ever.